Hello, Internet. It is I, Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about Madam Web. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. Yes, there are pros. Okay, they're not great, but they're there. So, let's go through those first before I get to the real stuff, all the cons. But, yeah, anyway, pros. This is a Spider-Man movie, kinda, not really at all, but it's technically tied to the property. But Spider-Man, everyone knows what a Spider-Man is. Spider-Man is one of the most recognizable characters ever in all of pop culture. And his movies, while some have not been very good, um, they tend to make money, quite a bit of money. With the Sam Raimi Spider Man movies, the two Andrew Garfield movies, the MCU Spider Man movies, the Spider Verse movies. Hell, even like Sony's weird universe where it's a bunch of Spider Man characters but no Spider Man. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either. um, but even like the Venom movies, they made money. Especially that first Venom movie made almost over 850 million. No one would have could have possibly guessed that after its trailers, after the turd in the wind line. You think that would have killed the movie? I actually think it may have fueled the movie, made people more interested in it. But it made a ton of cash, which resulted in Venom 2, which did quite well for itself considering when it came out. And now later this year, we're going to get Venom 3. So, yeah. And there's Morbius. We're not going to talk about that. Not yet. Okay. I'll talk about that later. But yeah, Spider Man is big. I mean, last year was a pretty good year for the property. I mean, last year you had Across the Spider Verse, not only being an excellent movie, but also being the one true, undisputed success story when it comes to superhero movies last year. I mean, there was Guardians 3 that did well, but part of me, a lot of people feel it kind of underperformed. That movie really should have been $1 billion flick, ideally. Across the Spider Verse didn't have that pressure, and it still crushed its predecessor. It made quite a bit more domestically. It doubled its predecessor. You don't see that happen all the time with sequels. So yeah, and not to mention, Marvel Spider-Man 2 for PS5, that game was a big deal when it came out. It's now sold 10 million copies. So, yeah, it's hard to call that a flop. So, yeah, 2023, that was a good year to be a Spider-Man. So, yeah, being tied to the Spider-Man property, I'm going to label that as a pro. It's a small, minor pro, but it's still there. So that's pro number one. Pro number two, it's Valentine's Day. And Valentine's Day is a very good time for movie going. It's a very good day for movie going. It's a holiday that helps out all movies, not just romantic themed movies. So, yeah, every movie gets an artificial boost. And this will be no different. So, yeah, not to mention this weekend is President's Day weekend. That'll help too a little bit. So it's a double holiday. So having Valentine's Day and President's Day, together, that's a pro. Easy pro right there. Um Another pro is the cast. I mean, they're not draws, but they are recognizable at least. I mean, you got Dakota Johnson, Miss Anastasia Steele from the critically acclaimed 50 Shades of Grey movies that are definitely um what how would you describe these movies? A blight on cinema. I think that's what how you would describe it. I think that's the right word to describe it. Yeah. Yeah, kind of just a blight on cinema. um but still they made money. Can't deny that. 50 Shades of Grey, that first movie when it came out, 2015, big deal. It broke the February record, which was really sad. Thankfully, that record was broken a year later with Deadpool, so at least a good movie over, over it got overthrown by a quality movie. But 50 Shades of Grey made over 500 million. Its sequels didn't do as well, but they still made money at the end of the day. 381 million, 371 million. So yeah, still successful, still made money. But besides that, not a whole lot else is on Dakota Johnson's resume. I guess there's How to Be Single, which I guess did okay. Yeah, I guess it did okay. It just did whatever. Bad Times at the El Royale, that was a flop. That was a bust. um, but yeah, she's still recognizable, especially now considering what she's been saying about the movie, like in the I guess the PR for the movie. It's pretty wild, but I'll talk about that later because it's definitely not a positive thing for this movie. But you got this Dakota Johnson, we got Sydney Sweeney, who's just had a big hit in the form of Anyone But You, a movie that thought I for sure thought no one would care about, and it was looking like that. With its opening weekend, its opening weekend was like 6 million. It had a brutally front-loaded opening, mainly because of Christmas. But I mean, like, look at that. They got real ugly opening weekend, so I thought it would have a quick death. But somehow, it just, gained all this momentum out of nowhere, and it just kept going. It's still going as we speak. Like, it literally went up its second weekend and its third weekend. Third weekend, that wasn't even a holiday. The holidays were over. So that was really weird. So it went from a 6 million opening to now making over 80 million. That's not normal. That's very much not normal, especially in the modern age. And it made like 170 million on a budget of like 25 million. It's a hit. A bona fide hit. The movie that will probably revive the theatrical rom-com. So yeah, having Sydney Sweeney, here, in this movie might help Madam Web a bit. I mean, she's also known for a role in, I believe it's Euphoria, which is one of HBO's biggest shows ever. So I guess Sydney Sweeney, she's definitely recognizable. I'd say that. Who else do we even have? There's Emma Roberts. She's been in a lot of stuff. Movies and TV shows. But she's not for me watching the movie. Yes, I did watch this movie. I paid to see this movie. I saw it in a theater. I saw it on the big screen. I'm not lying about that. But I don't know, like Emma Roberts, Mike Epps, Adam Scott. I mean, they're there, but not really. They're like barely in the movie. But I guess I might as well talk about Emma Roberts. I mean, she has some notable stuff here. There's Nerve, I guess. We're Millers was a big hit. Scream 4, which is kind of underrated, even though it was a flop for the franchise. Hotel for Dogs, that's a childhood movie, Jesus. And there's also, well, I guess for the tween girl audience, there was like Nancy Drew and Aquamarine. And for TV, there's American Horror Story. And then who else do we got? Mike Epps, no point in really mentioning him. He's barely in the movie. He's an extended cameo, but he's been in some stuff. Might as well mention it real quick. Apparently, his Uncle Drew, Meet the Blacks. No one on planet Earth remembers that. 50 Shades of Black, same thing. No one remembers that. What else? Well, I guess what else is there? I guess like Friday After Next and Next Friday, I guess. I think Adam Scott, mention him. He's been in a lot of stuff. He's very much a supporting actor type of guy. I mainly know him from, Step Brothers, where, he almost gets his family, killed in the car because they were singing, and then he like shits on his wife because she doesn't have the voice he wants, so he just is a total prick about it. It's probably you should watch that scene. It's really funny. But after that, a bunch of like supporting stuff, nothing like massive like that all. But he's here. So yeah, you have a cast that's not really filled with draws, but they are recognizable enough. So I'm gonna label that as a pro, a very minor pro. Yeah, I think that's it with pros. Now cons. Oh boy, let's talk about some cons. Okay. So reviews for this movie are ass. They're absolute ass. They're anything but good. I mean, it's critic scores is 16%. It's been a minute since I've seen something that low. um, so that's really bad. Obviously, that's not going to make anyone watch this movie. Its audience scores is 64%. That's also really bad. That tells me word of mouth is very much not good. Uh, there's still no cinema score. I imagine it will pop up. It'll probably pop up once I'm done recording this. Oh, the Bob Marley cinema score came out. An A. I expected that. That's not surprising. I'd be Madam Web cinema score is probably going to be like a low C or even if it's in the D range, I'm going to laugh. I will laugh my ass off, but I don't think it's likely. But still, it'd be amazing. So I imagine the cinema score for this is going to be hella low too. So yeah, word of mouth is toxic all over the place. And it's funny I say the word toxic because in the movie they literally play Britney Spears' toxic in the movie. So fitting I say that. So yeah, toxic as hell word of mouth from critics and audiences. It's all bad. So that's a con. Another con is that this whole Sony cinematic universe, like, what is this? Like, what the hell is this? Why are they grouping the Spider-Verse movies in here? They don't deserve this. They are much better than everything else here. When it comes to the actual Sony movies, you have Venom, a movie not a whole lot of people like, but it's kind of tolerable because people do like Eddie and Brock, not Eddie and Brock, Eddie and Venom together. People like seeing those two, interact. Same goes for its sequel. But then you got Morbius. Oh, Morbius. It's been a while since I've talked about you. Oh, the meme Morbius. It's Morbin time, that whole thing. Morbius, that was 2 years ago. God, it's been 2 years since this. Shit. But as you know, Morbius came out. Complete disaster. It's a movie that got memed into oblivion. Sony foolishly thought, oh, all these memes means people like it, so they re-released it in theaters, and it just bombed again. I can show you. So the movie already bombed already. It fell 74% second weekend, which at the time was like one of the worst drops ever for a superhero movie. Although that's been surpassed by, I believe, the Marvels. That fell by 78%. But yeah, look, they re-released it like a couple months later, did awful, and then it just died completely. It's fantastic. And yeah, just it was a total bust. And I saw flashback. I saw memories of that movie of how just nothing it was. Matt Smith's weird dance scene, the worst post credit scene I have ever seen in a movie. I remember that. It's a nightmare. And it's funny I mentioned Morbius because guess what? You probably noticed already, but for those of you who don't, the people, like the screenwriters who wrote this movie, wrote Morbius. I'm not fucking around. That is the truth. Okay, let me show you. So this is like one of the screenwriters, Matt Sazma. Uh yeah, look at this. Morbius. And we got some other bangers in here too. We got the Power Rangers movie from 2017, the one that uses Krispy Kreme as a plot point. Gods of Egypt, an absolute just ugh. I don't even want to think about that shit show. The Last Witch Hunter, a movie no one remembers at all, and Dracula Untold, another shit movie. So they're literally like 0 and 6 when it comes to quality. I forgot who the other guy was. Who this other dude's partner. Is it Buck Sharpless? What a name, Sharpless. That that is funny. Oh, but yeah, him and Matt Sazma, those two are just I don't even, how are they getting jobs? How are they getting hired? Who is hiring these two to write movies? I don't know. But their track record is god awful. It's one of the worst I've ever seen. So, yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I thought that was crazy. I was like, it's absolutely wild that they got the people behind Morbius to write a Madam Web movie. It's unbelievable. So, yeah, Morbius was a disaster, and there's also like Craven the Hunter, which was supposed to come out last year but didn't because of strikes, and that movie also looks like a disaster too. Um, Venom 3 is probably just going to be meh, maybe fun bad. And then there was supposed to be an El Morito movie with Bad Bunny, but that's pretty much on ice right now. But yeah, this Sony Cinematic Universe, it's just a disaster. It is just it's I don't even know what to say. It's probably the worst cinematic universe ever created. Um so yeah, I'm gonna label that as a con. Sony's weird Spider-Man-less cinematic universe. Another con is the fact that the marketing for this movie's been real bad. The trailers were terrible. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the meme quote. Okay, I have to look it up because I forgot how it went exactly. But it's a quote that, unfortunately, as you probably know, it's not in the actual movie. That saddened me. I was hoping to witness that, but it didn't. It was never in the movie. It's really sad. Um, da, 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 where is? I'm trying to find it. Where? Da, 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 da. Oh, here we go. This is from Dakota Johnson. The line is, he was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died. Yeah. That's how she says it. Verbatim. That's exactly how she says it. It's like she was literally just reading the script off camera. Like read exactly how it's written out. It's like no emotion. It's the most monotone voice ever. It was hilarious. But it's never in the movie, so it's sad. But it feels like all the dialogue feels like that. A good amount of it, at least, in the actual film. So yeah, this movie got memed on for having shit dialogue, shit action, shit looking action, and the movie just it looked bad. It looked like a CW show. It did not look like a professional like movie. It just didn't. It looked like it kind of had the vibe of a fan film, a bad fan film. Like it's just ugh. Yeah, the marketing, like the trailers were bad. What made it even worse is that on like the press tour for this movie, Dakota Johnson, like she was saying some stuff that I'm shocked she was allowed to even say about the movie. How she said like film with a blue screen felt like psychotic. She didn't even know the movie was gonna be good or not. And then on like SNL, like when she was like I think it was hosting, she described Madam Web in a jokey fashion, like, you know, like if an AI created your boyfriend's like favorite movie. And then apparently, the script for this movie was changed right after she signed on. So whatever script like that got her to sign on, like whatever pitch she was getting, that's gone. It was replaced by something else entirely. So it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. All this is going down. So yeah, the marketing was awful. So that's a con. Um, I guess any other cons? Actually, I'm gonna check one more time, but the cinema score is up. It has to be. Okay, it's up. A C plus. I'm surprised. I really am. I thought it'd be lower. But C plus is still shit for a superhero movie that's terrible. For a movie like this, awful. Just awful. That's worse than Flash, the Marvels. Like they got those got B's. This is like a whole grade lower than that. So yeah, word of mouth is just shit. So C plus cinema score. That's bad. That's a con. um is there anything else really? I mean, I guess Spider-Man fans are gonna be hella bamboozled when they watch this movie because there's like it's like this movie's embarrassed to be tied with Spider-Man in a way. I don't know. It's I don't get the decisions here. But I mean, you got like the villain who's like Spider-Man but not. He's like black suit with like red outlines on his like outfit. Like he has Spider-Man powers, but he's not like a Spider-Man. His name's like Ezekiel Sims, and like it's ugh. I don't even know what to say. Spider-Man fans are gonna feel bamboozled, so that's a con too. Um, is there anything else? I think I mentioned everything. So we gotta do 3 day, 4 day, and 6 day. According to early numbers, this movie's doing horrible. It's only gonna make like what 5 something million on Wednesday on Valentine's Day, so that's pretty abysmal. I mean, Bob Marley's making more than double that, so that should tell you a lot. um, I imagine word of mouth is going to affect this movie very fast because nobody wants to watch this movie. Nobody, really, just no one. So, say 5 million opening day, and then it's going to drop at least a 50, 60% at least second day. And then the 3 day, I don't even know if it's going to hit 10 million anymore. I don't even think it's going to hit double digits. But I'm going to say 10 million. 10 million for 3 day. Um, I don't know, 10 to 15 million, maybe like 10 to 13 million for 4 day. And then 6 day, 20 million, it seems like. Yeah, 20 million. And that's total. I see this pulling the Marvels. I see it, just falling through the floor after opening weekend. So I don't know, like 30, 40 million total, maybe less than that. Maybe not less than that, but 30 to 40 million total. That's what I'm going to stick with. And that's it. That's it for the weekend, I think. Cuz I know there's like these Bob Marley and Madam Web like today, yesterday as I'm recording this. I don't know about Friday. I don't think there's anything coming out because if there was, to be announced. But you'll know if I make a video or not, whether or not movie's opening wide Friday. But next weekend, it's a lot coming out. You got a new Demon Slayer movie, you got Drive Away Dolls, you got Ordinary Angels, Tenet. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do another Tenet video. I could, but is there any real point? um, I don't know. I'll think about it. But yeah, that's what next weekend looks like. And then we're gonna be done with February. So woo, I guess. So yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn notifications, share the whole drill. You want to check out more videos like this? I got playlists on the homepage, all previous prediction videos I made this year. You want to watch any of the ones I've done the previous few years, go right ahead. There's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. Madam Web, I talked about this movie a few times. The first time was episode 117. I talked about it alongside a Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse part 1/2, although now it's Beyond the Spider-Verse. That's part 2. And talk about that, those, Madam Web, and Equalizer 3. That was the first time. The second time was episode 140. Talked about Madam Web alongside a man called Auto 65 Insidious 5, Insidious The Red Door, and the Big George Foreman, and The Pope's Exorcist. So I talked about those, and then okay, the third time was episode 155. Talked about alongside Magic Mike 3 or Magic Mike's Last Dance, the Karate Kid movie coming out later this year, the Garfield movie, Kraven the Hunter, and 65. Yeah, yeah, that's it. So that's like for the third time. And then the final time. Yes, this is in fact the final time. Um da, 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 okay. It was episode 199 where I talked about Madam Web alongside Kraven the Hunter, Beyond the Spider-Verse, and Venom 3. So yeah, talked about it 4 times. So if you want to watch those episodes of Cancelled, go right ahead. I will be making episode 234 as soon as I publish my prediction videos, because I have Fantastic Four and the Thunderbolts to talk about, and I might as well talk about the corpse that is Coyote versus Acme. So that will be next after I make these videos and publish them. So stay tuned for those. But if you want to watch any of the past recap video, no, the cancel episodes I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. If you want to binge them all from beginning to now, I highly encourage you to do that, so go do it. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. February recap won't come out till the first week of March, in between Doom Part 2 and Kung Fu Panda 4, so stay tuned for that. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.